So today we will be starting off with absolutely the basic and rudimentary level for not only mathematics but also for economics. Okay, functions is a topic which is used everywhere, and it is imperative that you understand what is a function. The reason is, when we talk about calculus, continuity, differentiability of a function, maxima minima of a function, finding out the roots of a function. Okay, in microeconomics, the utility function of the consumer, so it is a function. The production function. Okay, so all of this, the profit function in markets, all of these are functions. So functions basically forms the base for most of the topics that we will be doing in the future, right? We will be doing that. So it is imperative that all of you firstly understand what is a function, right? So before we understand what is a function, we will have to understand something more broad, that is a relation. Now, when I talk about a relation, I don't mean your chacha, your bua, your brother, your sister. When I talk about a relation, it's a relation in mathematical terms, which basically relates two sets. So I call a set domain, and I call another set codomain. Supposing there are three elements in the domain and three elements in the codomain, any sort of mapping between two sets is called a relation. The mapping will always originate in the domain and end in the codomain. So this is a mapping. This is a mapping. This is basically A mapped with 1 and 2, B mapped with 1 and 3, C is mapped with 2. Okay. Any sort of a mapping, any sort of a mapping between the domain and the codomain is a relation. Are you with me? If you are, please raise your hand. Any sort of a mapping between two sets is called a relation. The mapping will originate in the domain and terminate in the codomain. It will end in the codomain. ठीक है? Okay. Now, any sort of a mapping between the domain and the codomain is a relation. Now, how many types of mapping are possible? So, types of mapping between two sets. Types of mapping between the domain and the codomain are as follows. The mapping which is there on your screen currently is a many to many mapping. Is a many to many mapping. Okay. If I have, say, four elements in the codomain, so one, this is a one to many mapping. One to many mapping. One element going to many. Okay. One to many mapping. Each element on the RHS is going to exactly one. So one is not going to A and to B simultaneously. It does not have a pre-image in A and B. If each element had multiple pre-images, then we would have a many here. Since each element in the codomain has exactly one pre-image, that's why this is one. And C is going to multiple, that's why it is one to many. This kind of a mapping is called one to many. Okay, so it's mapping types, I'm actually showing it to you. um, 1-to-1 mapping. A going to 1, B going to 2, C going to 3. 1-to-1 mapping. Okay. A going to 1, B going to 1, C going to 1. None of them going to 2 and 3. This is a many to 1 mapping. Okay. Anything else do you think is possible apart from many to many, one to many, one to one, and many to one? Anything else do you think is possible? If you think it is possible, put it in the chat box. If you think that it is not possible, then also put it in the chat box. So are these the only types of mapping? I want you to answer. Put your responses in the chat box. What do you think? Okay, I've got many responses. Thank you so much. So you are absolutely correct. These are the only types of mapping that are possible. These are the only 4 types of mapping that are possible. Now, out of these, only one to one and many to one is a function. Only one to one and many to one is a function. Now, what is the characteristic of a function? The characteristic of a function is as follows. Each element in the domain must have a unique element mapped to it in the codomain. Each element in the domain has a unique element in the codomain. This constitutes a function. Extremely important. Extremely important. What constitutes a function? Each element in the domain must have a unique element in the codomain. That is, if A is going to 1, it cannot simultaneously go to any other value in the codomain. If B is going to 3, it cannot simultaneously go to 1 or 2 also. No, not possible. So each of these is going to exactly one value, not multiple values. Each of these is going to exactly one value in the codomain. That is the meaning of a function. So a relation is a broad 4 types of mapping. Function is only these 2 types of mapping. So function is a special relation. Function is a special relation where only one to one and many to one mapping is possible. Am I understandable? Function is a special relation where only one to one and many to one mapping is possible. Okay, right? Okay. Now, there are a few more things which you need to understand when it comes to a function. Like, I'm sure that most of you jumble up in your head what is the meaning of a codomain and what is the meaning of a range. Okay. So, supposing we have an example like this. Okay. Supposing we have an example like this. Domain is ABC, codomain is 1, 2, 3, 4. Can any of you tell me what will be the range in this scenario? What will be the range in this scenario? I want to hear it from you. So when it comes to the range are all the elements which have a pre-image in the domain. So all the elements that have a pre-image in the domain constitutes the range. Okay. So here in this example, 1, 2, and 3 constitute the range, whereas the codomain is 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Now, can you also tell me what is an onto function, Deepshri, and what is the meaning of an into function? Can you tell me that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, if range is equal to codomain, it's a onto function.
Okay. And otherwise it's an into function, right?
Yes, sir. Right.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Good, good, good. Very good, Deepshri. So, as I was saying, what is the meaning of an onto function and into function? Whenever the range is equal to the codomain, it's an onto function. Whenever the range is equal to the codomain, it's an onto function. And whenever the range is a proper subset of the codomain, it's an into function. So here in this example, what kind of a function is this? Is this an onto function or into function? In this example that I've taken, is this an onto function or an into function? What kind of a function is this? Right. There's an into function because the range is 1, 2, 3 and the codomain is 1, 2, 3, 4. So the range is a subset of the codomain in the example that we have on the screen. So this kind of a function that we have is an into function. Okay. Clear? Anyone having any doubts whatsoever, I'll be happy to clear it out. So now is the time to go into a few questions on range, codomain, domain. Is the function that we see is a function or not? So we go into a few examples now. Let's go into them. This will make your concept of domain, codomain, range, mapping absolutely clear. So let's go into that. So a function is a correspondence between first set called the domain and a second set called the codomain, such that each member of the domain corresponds to exactly one member of the codomain. I've already shared this with you. For each of these following examples, identify what is the domain and the range and if the correspondence represents a function. Okay. So we first start with the ordered pairs. I have a few ordered pairs here. The X component is my domain and the Y component is my range. Okay. So please tell me whether A, B, and C, what will be the domain, what will be the range, and whether it is a function or not. Please tell, please share with me.
5, 7, and 11.
Sure.
And
So for the first one, it's 1, 7, 1, 5, 7, and 11, and the range will be 3,
3,
7.
7, 9, and 13.
Okay.
And it is a function and
It
it's one-to-one mapping.
it's a 1 to 1, yes, and it is a function. Okay. And the second one, what is the
Sec-
domain?
1 and 4.
1 and 4.
And the range is 7 minus
7
7
minus 7, 2 minus
minus
2.
2.
Sure.
And this is not a function because it's one to many.
Perfect. It's a one to many, only a relation, not a function. Perfect.
The last one, the domain is 4 minus 3, 0, 2. And the range is 1. And this is a function because it's many to one.
Perfect. Very good. 4 minus 3, 0, 2. Range is 1. Yes, it is a function. It's a many to one function. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much, Purni. Thank you. Okay. So that is perfect. So for these ordered pairs, the X component is my domain and the Y component is the range. And how to find out whether it is a function or not, look at the mapping. If the mapping is 1 to 1 or a many to one, it will be a function. If it is 1 to many, like B, example number B, then it is not a function. Okay. So that's how we see it. So when I take a look at the first one and the second one in the diagram examples, so the first one, the domain will be all the X elements. That's minus 4, minus 2, 0, minus 4, minus 2, 0, 3, and 5. This will be the domain. The range will be all the Y elements. So that's minus 2, 0, 1, 3, and 4, right? assuming that both of these are 1, right? Is it a function? The answer is no, it is not a function. Why is it not a function? The reason is, look at this x value 0. This is contributing to two y values. So it's 0 to 1 and 0 to 3. So there are two y values that a single x value is contributing to. Therefore, it is a one-to-many relation, but not a function. Are you with me? Are you with me? If you are, please raise your hand. First one is not a function because one value of x going to multiple values of y. So it's not a function. That's the first one. The second one, what is the domain here? The domain here will be all the elements from -2 to 5. There are so many of you who have said the domain for the second one is -2, 1.5, and 5. It's, please note that it's a continuous curve. So all the elements of x will be on the curve. So all these x elements have to be considered. All these x elements have to be considered. Correct? So the domain will be -2 to 5. What about the range? The range will be -2 to 4. Lowest value -2, highest value 4. -2 to 4. The domain is -2 to 5. All values between -2 to 5. It's a curve. It's not isolated points like these. The range is -2 to 4. And whether it is a function or not, yes, you are putting it in the chat box. Yes, good. It is, yes, it is a function. Okay, some of you who have said no, it's not a function, please understand each x value is having exactly one y value. An x value is not having multiple y values. What kind of a function is it? It's a many to one function. Multiple x values may go to the same y value, that is fine, but one x value is not having multiple y values, right? So yes, it is a function. What kind of a function? Many to one function. That is for the second one. Now please give me your answer for the third and the fourth one. A few of you have already shared. I want everyone to share it. Please share your answers. So let's talk about the third one. The domain is -infinity to 3. If you have said -5 to 3, that's also fine. Does not matter. -infinity to 3, assuming that this is going like this. It's going from -infinity to this value. Okay. Right. What about the range? Range seems to be 0 to 4, where it is going to 4, never actually achieving 4. Seems like that. If you have marked 0 to 4 closed interval, that's also fine. Okay, because we don't have the exact functional value here, so we are only conjecturing. Okay, what about whether it is a function or not? Yes, it is a function. It is a one-to-one function. Yes, it is a function. It's a one-to-one function. Okay, right. Now, number 4, what is the domain? Domain and range are both -infinity to +infinity. This is coming from -infinity going to +infinity. Okay, both the domain and the range are both -infinity to infinity. Is it a function? Yes. What kind of function? One-to-one function. It seems that this is a linear function, which is y is equal to x plus 1. It seems like that, but it is only a conjecture that we can make by looking at the function itself. Seems to be like that. from minus infinity to infinity y value, minus infinity to infinity x value. So that is why the domain and the range will be both minus infinity to infinity. And the range for this one is 0 to 4, where it seems like it is going to 4, but you can argue that, sir, 4 is achievable, and I'm not going to go against you. You can say 0 to 4 open interval or closed interval, whichever one is fine. Okay, so this is a one-to-one function. This is also a one-to-one function. So that's about 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now let's talk about the fifth one. Please take a look at it. So as all of you can see, the domain here will be minus 4 to infinity. Range, it seems like a parabola which is expanding on both the sides. So the range should be minus infinity to infinity. Is it a function? Answer is no, because one value of x is going to multiple values of y. So no, it's not a function. It seems to be a one-to-many relation, but not a function. I hope this is absolutely clear to everyone. Anyone having any doubts whatsoever at any point of time, put it in the chat box. Okay. Please don't put your doubt in the chat box after I have moved on to another part. Whenever you have a doubt, put it instantly in the chat box. Okay. So that's the fifth one. Now let's talk about equations here. So fx is equal to 7 by x plus 3. So f2 value, f11 value, f minus 3. As you can see, when x is equal to minus 3, fx will be undefined. Okay. So since f minus 3 is undefined, minus 3 is not in the domain of the function. Therefore, we write the domain as all x, where x is a real number and x not equal to minus 3. So how to find out the domain of the function? By looking at an algebraic expression. This algebraic expression should be defined, and that will be the value of x that will form a part of the domain. So whatever value of x that makes the function f undefined will not be a part of the domain. As simple as that. So let's take a look at examples here. So first example, 3 by x minus 5. X is equal to 5, the fx becomes undefined. Therefore, the domain will be all x except x is equal to 5. So the domain is all x and x cannot be equal to 5. Similarly, for the first one, x cannot be equal to minus 7. So domain is all x except the value minus 7. Here x cannot be equal to 0 and cannot be equal to 3 by 2. So the domain is all x except the values 0 and 3 by 2. Here you can see that the domain will be all x real. No restriction, because 6 and 3 cannot ever be 6. It's a scalar quantity 3. And for all x values, this fx will be defined. Okay. Now, number 4, fx is equal to 3x by x square minus 49. So x square minus 49 not equal to 0. And this will basically make it x not equal to 7 or minus 7. So x is all real except the values minus 7 and 7. Number 5, x belongs to all real numbers. All polynomials in x will be defined for all real x. All polynomials in x will be defined for all real x. Okay. So this is what the domains will be. Okay. Okay, now a doubt has come. The doubt is that looking at the function fx, how will we say what is the domain, what is the codomain, what is the range. So whenever you are given a problem, please note that you will notice a notation like this: f denoting a function colon. Okay, you'll notice a symbol like this, you'll notice a representation like this, which basically means that first set is the domain, R to R. This second set is the codomain, and by actually writing down what is my fx, I will be able to find out the range. So supposing I have a f R to R, okay, and fx is equal to x square, supposing. Okay. Now I know that x square will always be greater than equal to 0. Therefore, what will be the range? Range will be all elements going from 0 to infinity. Can all of you see this? So f colon R to R, basically first R is the domain, second R is the codomain, and fx is equal to x square. So I know that the range will be all non-negative numbers. X square can never be a negative number. So all non-negative numbers will constitute the range. Okay. Therefore, the range is 0 to infinity. The codomain is the set of all real numbers and the range is 0 to infinity. Can you see this? Is this understandable? Please raise your hand. Who asked this question? I think Shubhapriya was asking this question, I think. Yeah. Okay. So as you said that the domain and the codomain, x square greater than equal to 0. Therefore, the codomain is the set of all real numbers and the range is from 0 to infinity. Now, what kind of a function is this? What kind of a function is this? The function here is many to 1 and it is an into function. It's an into function. So we have a function. This is the domain, this is the codomain. So whenever a function representation is like this, like, so this is the set of all real numbers, this is the set of integers, this is the domain, this is the codomain. Okay, whenever I have this kind of a representation, this is not the range. Z is not the range. Z will always be the codomain. Range has to be calculated by looking at the functional form. So by looking at the functional form, I was able to see that the range is from 0 to infinity because x square can never be a negative number. And if that happens, the range is 0 to infinity. Therefore, it's an into function because the codomain is the set of all real numbers and the range is only 0 to infinity. Therefore, it is into and not onto because the range is a subset of the codomain. Understandable? Yes. So ISI 2018 question number 4. First thing to keep in mind is that under root, I can only have a positive number and the denominator has to be not equal to 0. Okay. These two things, if you keep in mind, you will be able to solve this. That is it. Please make an attempt. I want everyone to answer this. So let's go on the whiteboard in order to solve this. Okay. So firstly, this inside thing has to be positive. So 2x minus 1 greater than equal to 0 and x plus 3 greater than 0. Positive by positive will be positive. So that basically means x is greater than equal to half and x greater than minus 3. If I combine both of them, it should be half to infinity. Also, this inside part can be positive if both of them are negative simultaneously. That basically means x less than equal to half and x less than minus 3. When will both be negative simultaneously? When I am getting minus infinity to minus 3. So minus infinity to minus 3 both will be negative. Therefore 2x minus 1 by x plus 3 will be positive. Negative by negative will be positive. And half to infinity, Both will be positive, therefore under root will not be a problem. So what should be the answer? The answer should be minus infinity to minus 3 union half to infinity. Correct? And that's option B, I presume. Perfect. 71% of you have marked B. Absolutely perfect. Very good. So your first experience with an ISI problem and you have got it correct. Very, very good. And all those who have not got it correct, you must have made some sort of a silly mistake somewhere. Okay. The thing to notice is that this inside part, if it is positive, both of them can be negative also. Negative by negative is also positive. That may have been overlooked. Okay. And in all the problems, I'm also giving you an additional option. I can't do, sir, please you do. Okay. So that also can be exercised. If you don't have any clue whatsoever, please exercise that option as well. Okay. ISI 2015 question number 8. We need to find out the domain for this function. It's already given to us that x is greater than equal to 0. So if x is greater than equal to 0, x cannot be a negative number, and rule that out of the equation. Okay, rule it out of the equation. That can't be the answer. In fact, in the poll, I see that 29% of you have marked A as the answer. It can't be. Okay. Now, let's concentrate on both of these. So x square minus 1 has to be greater than equal to 0, because under the root, I need to have a non-negative number. Also, log of a negative or 0 is not possible. So 1 minus x has to be positive. 1 minus x has to be positive. Under root 1 minus x, this has to be positive. It can't be negative or be equal to 0. Both are not possible. Now, x square minus 1 greater than equal to 0 basically means x is greater than equal to 1 or x is less than equal to minus 1. And this basically means x is less than 1. Now, x is greater than equal to 0. Therefore, x less than equal to minus 1 not possible. Only two possibilities that are there are x is greater than equal to 1, and the other expression gives us x less than 1. So x greater than equal to 1 and x less than 1. Is both of them possible simultaneously? How can x be greater than equal to 1 and be less than 1 at the same time? Not possible. What is the domain? Null set. The domain is null set. If this restriction of x greater than equal to 0 was not there, then the answer would have been x less than equal to minus 1, because I would have x less than equal to minus 1 as a possibility, and x less than equal to minus 1 and x less than 1 both combined will give me x less than equal to minus 1. Therefore, because this is the condition greater than equal to 0, therefore I have null set as the domain. Answer is C. ISI 2015 question number 11. It's a very, very interesting question. So we have 4 to the power x plus 4 to the power minus x plus 2 to the power x plus 2 to the power minus x plus 3. Now, there are multiple ways of doing this. One is by putting in values of x. So if I put, say, x is equal to 1, I'll get 4 plus 1 by 4 plus 2 plus 1 by 2 plus 3. Okay. This will be the value of f. If I put x is equal to 0, it will be 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 3. If I put any other value of x, you will notice that the functional value will be greater than the value of the function when x was equal to 0. So when x was equal to 0, it gives me the least value for the function f. You will notice this by trial and error. This is one of the methods. So the least value that the function can take is 7 when x is equal to 0. That is the least value that the function can take. So you can mark your answer D. Okay. There is, however, another method. The foolproof method to solve this is to think about this 4 to the power x plus 4 to the power minus x as 4 to the power x plus 1 by 4 to the power x, which can be written as a plus 1 by a. This expression is of the format a plus 1 by a. If it is of the format a plus 1 by a, and I apply arithmetic mean greater than equal to geometric mean, the arithmetic mean of both C and D are the same. Answer, no, C is open interval 7. That is 7 is not included. D is closed interval 7. That is 7 is included. 7 is included because x can be equal to 0. C is not the answer. Okay, Sonu? So arithmetic mean greater than equal to geometric mean, if I apply a and 1 by a, arithmetic mean is this. Geometric mean is root over a into 1 by a. Therefore, I can see that a plus 1 by a will always be greater than equal to 2. Very interesting result. Whenever I have a format a plus 1 by a, it will always be greater than equal to 2. Obviously, the restriction here is that a is positive. Okay, which will hold here because 4 to the power x plus 4 to the power minus x can never be equal to 0, can never be negative, it can only be positive. If it can only be positive, it will fit here perfectly. So what I notice when I look at this function is, look at this format, look at this format. Both these formats is of a plus 1 by a type. A plus 1 by a plus 1 by a. And I already know that a plus 1 by a least value is 2. A plus 1 by a will always be greater than equal to 2. Therefore, f will always be greater than equal to 4 to the power x plus 4 to the power minus x, 2 minimum value, 2 minimum value, and 3. Therefore, f will always be greater than equal to 7. And you can mark your answer. This is the foolproof method wherein I apply arithmetic mean greater than equal to geometric mean. Now, some of you are already putting it in the chat box, sir, how will we think about this? Whenever you have a problem like this, when you notice a plus 1 by a, चाहे वो DSC हो, ISI हो, any other institute, whenever you have a plus 1 by a kind of a format, using AM greater than equal to GM will do the trick 99% of the time. Also, when I teach you continuity, differentiability, calculus, maxima, minima, you will notice many problems will be solved by the AM greater than equal to GM greater than equal to HM approach. Many problems will be solved by that. So this is an inequality which each of you should keep in your mind. Arithmetic mean greater than equal to geometric mean greater than equal to harmonic mean. This has to be kept in your mind. Extremely important. Varun, that may not always work. Varun, that may not always work. The problem with that is if a function is increasing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing like this, so the maximum value may not occur at infinity. It might occur at a value in between, and the minimum value may not occur at minus infinity. It may occur at an in between value. So always checking for that may not work. Okay. So that is ISI 2015 question number 11, a different problem. ISI 2014 question number 28. So see, I told you that you will come across a notation like this, F colon R to Z. This is the domain, this is the codomain. Okay. Fx is equal to ceiling x, where ceiling is the smallest integer that is larger than x. Now, what does ceiling function mean? Let me try and explain this. Ceiling value of 0.5. First integer that is coming on the right, ceiling value minus 0.5. First integer that is coming on the right. So the first integer that is coming on the right will be the ceiling value. Am I understandable? And the ceiling value of an integer is the integer itself, be it -3 +3, whatever be the integer, will be the integer itself. Okay? So for a fraction, it is the first integer on the right. That is the ceiling value. Keep that thing in your mind. Now, what is my gx? Gx is basically mod of ceiling x minus ceiling of mod x. Okay, that is my gx. Now, what are the values that gx will take? Best way to do this is by examples. Put in a few examples, you will notice something and you will be able to mark the answer. Okay, so if I take a negative fraction, negative 0.5, ceiling function of it, value is 0, mod of that is 0, minus 0.5 mod is 0.5, 0.5 ceiling is 1. So if I take a negative fraction, the value of gx is -1. If I take a positive fraction, ceiling of 0.5 is 1, 0.51. So when x is positive, it is equal to 0. When x is a negative fraction, it is -1. When x is an integer, gx will be 0. Because the ceiling of it will not change. When x is an integer, if it is say equal to -3, what you will get is, you will get mod of -3 minus mod of -3. You'll get this. You'll get this. Okay. So you'll get 0. So for everything except a negative fraction, g value -1. For all other values, g value 0. So what is the range? -1 and 0. As simple as that. All values of x, it is 0 except negative fraction. Negative fraction will include -1.2 also, -2.3 also. Negative, not a whole number. Negative, not an integer, will be giving me a g value of -1. Put any value, you will notice it. You will notice it. So the answer is -1 and 0 is the range. So what kind of a function is this? This is an into function. Range is only -1 and 0. Codomain is the set of all integers. So codomain set of all integers, range only -1 and 0 into function. Understandable? Clear? If it is, please raise your hand. ISI 2012 question number 14. Let's put this on the whiteboard. We need to find out the domain for this. Now, the domain for this will basically mean each of these paths have to be defined. First part greater than equal to 0. Second part less than equal to 3. Third part x square minus 4x has to be greater than equal to 0. So combining the first two, x has to be between 0 to 3. This third part basically means x into x minus 4 greater than equal to 0. Now, this into this has to be greater than equal to 0 will mean that either both are positive or both are negative. When are both positive? Greater than equal to 0 and greater than equal to 4 will mean x has to be greater than equal to 4. X greater than equal to 4 will mean both are positive. When are both negative? Combine. So x less than equal to 0 or x greater than equal to 4. This will hold for x greater than equal to 4 or less than equal to 0. Now, can x lie between 0 to 3 and be greater than equal to 4 at the same time? Can x lie between 0 to 3 and be greater than equal to 4 at the same time? Obviously not. Okay. X lies between 0 to 3 and minus infinity to 0. Both of these have to be satisfied. The common point is only element 0. You will notice that only at 0 will both of these be satisfied? Otherwise it will not be satisfied. You take any value, you take the value 1, supposing you take the value 1, you'll notice that first two satisfied, third one will come out to be a negative number. Okay, therefore 1 will not be a part of the domain. You take any negative value, first one not satisfied, out. So that is how you can also check if you want to try for the trial and error method. You will notice that only one element 0 will satisfy all these three parts of the function. First two parts will be satisfied when x is lying between 0 and 3. Third part will be satisfied only if x is less than equal to 0 or greater than equal to 4. Greater than equal to 4 not possible, so it has to be less than equal to 0. Less than equal to 0 and between 0 to 3 both will simultaneously hold only for the element 0. So what is the answer here? Answer here is only the element 0. Okay, you can see it here on the whiteboard once more. You can copy it down, try to understand it. Each of these videos of the solution is on the student portal. So if you have any doubts in any of the questions, you can go on the portal and put your question number in the filter in the search box and see the solution. You can see the solution 5 times, 10 times, 50 times, 500 times also. You can pause it, you can rewind it, fast forward it, whatever you want, you can do it. Okay.